Okay, so we just finished the other two transformations on the other video, so now we're going to look at rotations and dilations and then our doubles. So rotation, we have two different types of rotation. We have clockwise. So clockwise is a turn to the right, and then we have counterclockwise.
Oh, yeah. What are you doing?
Counterclockwise is a turn to the left.
You're back.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to physically turn our paper. Then we have a 180-degree rotation. Thank you. And we're going to turn our paper all the way upside down if that happens. Okay, so this first one says that we're doing 90 degrees clockwise. So we're going to turn to the right. So rotations are turns. That's their little nickname. So I'm going to turn it to the right. And we're going to pretend like this graph is right side up, and we're going to write down these ordered pairs. Okay, so now, okay, thank you. Okay, stop. Okay, so B prime is now at 2, 1. Okay, so that's where B prime is at. It's at 2, 1. And C prime will be at 5, 1. And then, okay, thank you. D prime is at 1, -3. Okay, then what we do is we turn our picture back around and we're going to graph those ordered pairs. So B prime would be at 2, 1, so that's B prime. C prime is at 5, 1, so there's C prime. And D prime is at 1, -3. And then we connect our dots and we have our picture rotated. Okay, so now on the next one we're going to rotate 180 degrees. So we're going to flip our paper all the way upside down. And we're going to write down these ordered pairs. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at our K. So our K is at -1. 1. L is over here at -4, 0. And M is at -1, 3. So we're going to rotate it back around, and it might be easier if you rewrote this. So this is at -1, 3, this is -4, 0, and -1, 1. So again, after we turn our paper upside down, we're just pretending that it's right side up and graphing those or figuring out what the ordered pairs are. Now we graph. -1, 3 is M prime, -4, 0 is L prime, and K prime is at -1, 1. So then here is our rotated shape. Okay.
We got it.
Okay, so now we're going to look at dilations. So for dilations, the first thing you have to do is write down all your ordered pairs. So S is originally at -2, -1. T is at 0, 1. And U is at, what is that? 3, -1. Okay, and now the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to multiply each of these numbers by your scale factor, which is 1.5 for this picture. Okay? So, here we go. Just grab your calculator. -2 times 1.5 is -3. So S prime will be at -3. -1 times 1.5 is -1.5.
Okay.
0 times 1.5 is 0. And 1 times 1.5 is 1.5. 3 times 1.5 is 4.5.
Okay.
And -1 times 1.5 is -1.5. So then we graph these. Okay? Okay, you gotta stop pressing that button. Okay, so now we have a dot at -3, 1, 2, 3, -1, and 0.5. So there's S prime. Okay.
Done. It's done.
Okay. Then we have a dot at 0, 1.5. So this is T prime. And we have a dot at 4.5, -1.5. And that'll be U prime. So this shape should be bigger because we multiplied by a number bigger than, oh, my floor, crooked. Okay, whatever, you get the idea. We multiplied by a number that's bigger than 1, so it should make our shape get larger. Whereas on number 14, this guy is a number that's smaller than 1, so our shape's gonna get smaller. So B is at 2, -1. C right now, that's B. C is at negative 1, 2, and D is at negative 2, 0. So we're going to multiply each of these by a fourth, or by a quarter, or by 0.25. So 1/4 is 0.25. So 0.25 times 2 is 0.5. So for B prime, we're going to have 0.5, and then negative 1 times 1 times 0.25 is negative 0.25. And then for C, negative 1 times 0.25 is negative 0.25, and 2 times 0.25 is 0.5. Negative 2 times 0.5 is negative 0.5, and 0 times anything is 0. So then we're going to graph these. We have a dot at a half, and then negative 0.25. So that guy is B prime. C prime is at negative 0.25, and then here, so there's C prime. And D prime is at negative 0.5, so a little bit further, and then 0, D prime, and then we connect the dots. Okay, now the only thing we have left to do are the doubles. Okay, so for this one, we are going to first graph this triangle. So we have a dot at 2, 7, so that's here. So there's A. Then we have a dot at 6, 7, so that's here. There's B. And a dot at 3, 2, which is C. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate 180 degrees. So we're going to turn our picture upside down. Okay, and then we're going to pretend like it's right side up and write our primes. So A prime is at negative 2, negative 7. B prime is at negative 6, negative 7. And C prime is at negative 3, negative 2. So now we're going to turn it back around and graph those. Oh, I can write them down right here too. So A prime is at negative 2, negative 7. B prime is negative 6, negative 7. And C prime is negative 3, negative 2. Okay, so now we're going to graph those. So we have a dot at negative 2, negative 7. So that's A prime. Negative 6, negative 7 is B prime. And negative 3, negative 2 is C prime. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to reflect across the y-axis. So the y-axis is here. And we're going to reflect the shape that we just drew, the prime. So we're going to count to the mirror, 1, 2, 3, and then through the other side is now C. We've moved it twice, so he's a double prime. A is 2 spaces from the mirror, so 2 spaces through the other side is A double prime. And B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces through the other side is now B double prime. So this says that I've moved this shape twice from the original. Okay, thank you. Then the last step is to write down the ordered pairs. A double prime is at 2, negative 7. B double prime is at 6, negative 7. And C double prime is at 3, negative 2. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask your teacher. Have a great day. Practice for your test. See you later. Bye.